mix of pseudo-history and bloodthirsty imagination. Even museums leaned into it. You can still find Iron Maidens proudly displayed behind glass with placards that quietly mention, "Actually, this is a Victorian-era replica of something we made up entirely." Of course, medieval people did use torture, extensively, creatively, and with almost no HR department oversight. There were racks, thumbscrews, heretics' forks, and something called the pear of anguish, which sounds like a fruit but isn't. But the Iron Maiden? Not on the list. They were too busy being horrible in more practical ways. Why did the myth stick? Because it feels true. It fits the narrative of a brutal, superstitious age. It's also visually terrifying, a perfect icon for our collective nightmares about the past. And so, a fake torture box became a real symbol of medieval cruelty. Let's clear up one of the most persistent myths about the Middle Ages. No, medieval Europeans did not think the earth was flat. They weren't that kind of clueless. They had other issues: plague, famine, surprise invasions by relatives with swords. But basic planetary geometry wasn't one of them. In fact, most educated people in the Middle Ages knew the earth was a sphere. Monks, scholars, and sailors understood it. Heck, even school books from the 1200s explained the earth's roundness, usually while subtly threatening children with eternal damnation if they didn't memorize Latin conjugations. The myth of a flat earth believing Middle Ages was actually cooked up much later, in the 19th century, when historians wanted to make the Renaissance and Enlightenment look cooler by comparison. It's easier to feel superior when you imagine your ancestors navigating with maps that resembled pizza boxes. The real medieval cosmology came from thinkers like Isidore of Seville, Bede the Venerable, and Thomas Aquinas, people with very pointy handwriting and extremely strong opinions on theology, philosophy, and celestial spheres. They weren't always right, mind you, but they definitely weren't flat earthers. Many based their understanding on Aristotle and Ptolemy, who, again, were all aboard the spherical Earth train. There were even practical reasons for knowing the Earth was round. Ships disappearing over the horizon, round Earth, the curved shadow on the moon during a lunar eclipse, round Earth, the fact that people in Spain couldn't see the same stars as people in Egypt, again, round Earth. Medieval logic may have been 30% divine revelation, 20% Latin mumbling, and 50% random guesswork, but they still got this one right. The confusion mainly comes from a few scattered quotes taken